Hello, my writers and mamas of writers. Happy New Year. I thought we would pick up where we left off and talk about proofreading and review a little bit quickly how your children have learned how to do planning. They have a sketch. At this point, it's a 1-part or a 2-part or even maybe a 3-part sketch if their stories are starting to get longer with more details, highlighting a beginning of a story, a middle, and an end. So they've planned by doing the sketch. Obviously, they've set up their paper. Quick review here with the 6 lines and then the .x, .x, .x. And that, of course, prepares them for the revision conference and adding details. Then they moved on to drafting. So they've put the date, they've drafted, they may have checked off sketch number 1, and then adding on. There should be evidence of a date of when they added on another detail and added more from their sketch and checked it off. So they've added on. And then I don't know where the post-it went, but Rocco and I did have a revision conference on this story. We definitely did on this one too. So you've got a post-it with the questions that you have asked them after they read you the story. And remember, it's important to note that in the drafting stage and in the adding on stage and even in the revision conference, let's not focus on spelling or punctuation necessarily in these areas. You don't want them to stop with their voice, their expression, and their story. That comes in proofreading and editing. So they've gone through these processes. You've had your revision conference. You've modeled and you've practiced adding in the answers to those revision conferences in the bubbles here. And they've learned, which does take practice, to include this in reading aloud, reading the story back. And then you checked off the revision conference questions that were asked. All right, so then here you notice the red pen. It's not my writing, it's Rocco's writing. It's the student's writing when you move down to proofreading. So now you're at the proofreading stage and you want to model that in your writing, in your draft book or your big chart paper or however you are modeling the correct writing, the correct spelling, because even we as adults make errors. All right, so you have modeled a proofreading where you take the red pen in your draft book, in your story, and you model for your child, your student, how to check for uppercase letters, how to check to make sure words look right. If some words do not look right, you model how you're going to draw one line through them, and you're not going to scribble and you're not going to erase. You want to see the thinking of the writer. And you add in punctuation. You can add a better closing sentence or something else. As the writer, you have the power of the red pen. So you are the proofreader. The writer is the proofreader. So in my modeled story, I am the proofreader. And I check for spelling and things that don't look right and punctuation. And the proofreading stage is extra exciting and extra powerful because your student, the writer, the child, they have the power of the red pen. And it allows you to see what they're noticing in their writing and what they are fixing up. All right, so we're going to stop there before we move on to an editing conference.